everyone. I'm Monica Vink with the Telecommunications Industry Foundation. Thanks for joining us in another video in our series covering the Climbing Facilities White Paper. Today we're discussing the roles and responsibilities between contractors and engineers and how they can work together in our industry. We have Cameron Swanson, Brandon Chapman, and Scott Stecker to talk a little bit about how each of those stakeholders can support each other as it pertains to the Climbing Facilities White Paper.
Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. We really wanted to get together and we wanted to discuss the white paper. As you guys know, the Telecommunications Industry Foundation came together collectively as a group to develop this white paper. And what this white paper was really focused around was things that we as contractors run into on a daily basis. Things that we may not necessarily have the ability to see visually from the ground. This can be damaged tower legs because of the installation of an improper mount on a leg, say an angle leg mount on a round member or vice versa, right? This white paper really addresses some of those different things. And for those watching the video today, if you haven't had an opportunity to review the white paper, go to the website. The website will be listed on the screen below me here, and you can reference that and go through and take a read at it. Like I said, if you haven't had an opportunity to read it, it's a great read, and there's a lot of really good information in there. Now back to the ultimate issue at hand is from a contractor's perspective, what is it when we run into these types of issues out in the field? What is useful for the contractor to capture in terms of information, photos, documentation, to provide that to the manufacturer to where the manufacturer can help assist the contractors in working through those different issues?
Well, you named most of them. all the pictures and documentation that you can supply back to a manufacturer gives us the intel we need to hopefully solve the problem. Early on in the development of this paper, it was quickly learned that communication was not happening between the contractor and the manufacturer. So I think the paper does direct and help you identify some of those things that you need to get for getting information back to the manufacturer. But on top of that, it also gives you the empowerment and knowledge to know who to contact. That was missing early on.
Cool, awesome. It's not uncommon. It's funny that the industry in which we work in, we're problem solvers. We like to build things. We're hands-on people, and it's not uncommon that we have to go out and we have to improvise while out on the job site to make something work. And that may mean adding crossover brackets to a mount. That may mean fabricating your own radio mounts, whether it be unistrut or whatever. These are all things that we have become used to over the years in doing this. Scott, can you explain part of the reason why or behind what may be good or more so bad with kind of improvising out in the field and not engaging the manufacturer or engineering per se?
Yeah, it's a good point, Cameron. I think there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes from a manufacturer's perspective. There's a lot of standards and codes we need to meet. So whether it's TIA 222 or the newly developed 5053 standards, all the products we're making today are meeting those standards. So when a contractor kind of goes rogue and does their own thing, it might not be up to the standards that the industry needs to meet. And so it's really important to follow the manufacturer's drawings that are provided. Part of the new information that's put out by manufacturers are a lot more detailed than they used to be, so they'll actually show you where the bolts need to go in the holes and how to build the mount properly so they can be deployed properly.
You bring up an interesting point. There is more detail in these drawings, but say a contractor, say a tower climber that deals in this stuff on a daily basis, sometimes they may run into things that one may not look right, or two, they may have an idea of how they might be able to improve a product, or hey, if this bolt was here, it would work better. If this bracket was here, it would work better. Or they may just completely have an idea as it relates to a new design that would better suit the ever-evolving technology and the different equipment in which we use on a daily basis. Is that something that really, honestly, manufacturers want to hear from the field on?
100%. I think the feedback from the industry is one of the driving things that moves the general progression of new products. You know, a lot of times sitting back designing a product might look great in the design phase, but there could be tweaks and enhancements that make it a lot better, easier to build, and just things that make it more convenient for the installer as well. And we 100% welcome that feedback across all the manufacturers to, you know, try to improve our products and have a better offering.
What, Brandon, for you, when you get feedback back from the field, I'm assuming it's not too uncommon, what are some of the more common items that you guys run into? Are we seeing more items where, say, maybe they can't get the appropriate azimuths or the damaged legs? What are some of the more high-level common issues that you see from a manufacturing standpoint?
At a high level, it's 99% of the time related to the connection between the mount and the tower. Mm-hmm. Something to do with the leg, whether it's size of leg, a safety climb being in the way, or being impeded in some fashion. That's pretty much always what it is. It's not either not fitting, or because you're adding it, it's hurting something.
So from a contractor's perspective, what, in your guys' opinion, should be the very first step for a contractor? A contractor shows up on site, they identify, we always check our BOMs or our bill of materials when we load that site up. We get out to the site, we realize that something's wrong. What is the first thing from a manufacturing standpoint that you would like for a contractor to do that we're not currently doing?
First is to communicate it. Don't let that break down. That didn't happen for a long time, or when it did, it was minimal. So having the ability and understanding of who to contact and when to contact is critical. And you'll learn that in the paper. You'll get advice on what you see, and things that you might not think are critical they are. And relaying that back to the manufacturer is important. Once that gap is bridged, we can start working on the solutions, and that's where we step in with our product.
It's amazing. It's so much of what we hear about, and I know that it's not uncommon to hear it, is that we're in the communication business, but yet, and oftentimes we like communicating amongst ourselves. And it's also crazy that it's those little details that make such a big difference in our ability to do our job, and not only do our job efficiently and deliver the amount of quality in which the customer expects, but to be able to do that safely. A lot of people don't really understand how many different areas our industry actually touches. We have vehicles that run off of, have their Wi-Fi hotspots in them. We have 911 services that hinge off of what we do. We have the men and women that are actually out servicing these towers on a daily basis to the general public that's walking in and around these structures. And a lot of people don't seem to understand that, yes, the guy on the tower wearing the harness that is affixing that object or that antenna to the structure, how many different areas it actually affects, God forbid if something goes wrong. So I think it's wonderful that the group has formed the white paper. There's a lot of really good information in there, and I appreciate your guys' time and all the energy and effort you guys put into developing the white paper. It's definitely, I think, a step in the right direction.
Thank you.